Thanks for staying with us on SoCal Spotlight. And our final story today is from the Chapman Athletics program. Every coach has his clipboard and most use it to follow the game plan, but I was able to meet one who adds another meaning to jotting down notes.
Imagine this. It's the championship game of the conference. Your team relies on a play that you drew up for them in the days leading up to the contest. But little do they know that your mind wasn't always on the task at hand.
So I'll be working on something, and then it'll just kind of an idea will pop in my head, and I know I got to write it down, and I'll go home and work on it. Kind of like when my brain is just free to do something else. I'm not so focused on it.
So you're in practice, you have your clipboard, and then you write down an idea, and they're thinking, they're writing down notes, you're writing down notes on there.
Right, don't tell Coach Bo, but sometimes I'm writing lyrics, yeah.
Assistant men's basketball coach Dan Krikorian, or Coach K as he's called by most at Chapman, leads a life of passion. That is, he does what he likes to do, and that may not be something you'll find anywhere else. Of course, it starts with his occupation.
I got a business degree from Chapman, and I was thinking I want to go into the business world and kind of do that route, and I got a job at a mutual fund company, and it was a great job, the whole nine coming out of college, and worked there for about a year and a half until just realized it wasn't quite what I wanted to do with my life. And so that eventually led me into getting the JV coaching position at my old high school at Costa Mesa, and from there worked my way up to eventually becoming the varsity head coach at Costa Mesa. And then 4 years ago, the assistant job opened up at Chapman, and Coach Bo gave me a call and asked about coming back, and here I am.
Basketball had always been in his life from a young age, and it was no surprise that he pursued coaching. But there was another side to Krikorian that he never knew existed until he got to college.
My sophomore year at Chapman, I needed to take like a fine arts credit or something for a GE, and I just always was interested in maybe learning how to play guitar. To be honest, just maybe to, I don't know, play it at a campfire.
I always wanted to play guitar.
So it's just something you're just kind of intrigued by, and
exactly.
So I took an intro to guitar class at Chapman, and wasn't very good at it, like most people are when they start guitar. It's just really hard, but there was something about it that I just really enjoyed, and from there I just was kind of self-taught, and I didn't get too much into performing or writing or any of that until after I graduated. But it was about the time I graduated from Chapman. I wrote a couple songs, and I thought, I don't know, hey, maybe these are okay. Maybe they're not horrible to listen to. Like maybe someone other than my dog might like to hear these.
I find my place. That's when his music life would start to develop its own course.
When I used to work at the mutual fund company, I would just get an idea during the day, and I would write it on a sticky note and then bring it home. And this is kind of how the album was written, is just through all these sticky notes. So and that's how I do it most of the time. So I still do that now, like maybe gonna go into practice, whenever I have that idea, and I'll just write on my desk. I have a bunch of sticky notes, and then I'll bring them home and then throw them up here, or just kind of keep them. And it makes it easier for me, just because if I don't know, I can just get the idea out, and then I don't have to worry about trying to keep it in my head.
4 albums of original songs in 6 years shows that he had a lot to write about. But there were plenty of listeners who wanted to hear all of it. That led to popularity from across the globe.
I mean, there's all kinds of charts. I have had songs that have done well on the radio over the Netherlands. I don't think I'd get stopped on the street over there by anybody, but I've had some songs do okay, and I've had the albums do well critically over there especially. And so anytime an album does well, in the magazines and the reviews and all that come out, it helps drive a little bit of radio play and things like that. So I guess it's been fun to kind of go over there and to do that.
We can add the splash of teaching. You even have a class on sports leadership, and how's that going for you so far?
it's been a blast so far. It's the first semester teaching the class, first semester the class ever been offered, and from my point of view, it's just a blast to teach, because there's so much in sports that can be related to anything. And so I think for myself and for the students, it's a great jumping off point to talk about any and all kinds of issues that go on outside the boundaries of sports.
I joined the class because Coach K was talking about it, how he was interested in doing a leadership class, and so I was kind of talking about it when he was developing it, and I was like, oh, it sounds really interesting, the different topics he was suggesting. Being on the basketball team made it even more interesting to have your coach as one of your professors, and it was just a really cool opportunity for me to study leadership in the sports, and something that I love.
I think he's done great. No, I think he's done a really amazing job. He's taught us a lot, and he's really good at kind of taking things that we say and repeating them back to us, but in a different way to kind of let us know that he's actually listening. He's not just kind of hearing us talk and that's it. So he's been a great coach, great teacher.
From a coach and a teacher at Chapman to a musician that travels the world, Krikorian still finds a way to explain how his different lives relate to each other.
The first guy who was in my band was a family friend who had been coming to a couple of my shows earlier on. He was also a guitarist, and he knew a bass player, and they had played together at church or something. They had a connection, and so we started to play together. He brought the bass player on, and then from there, the bass player knew a drummer, and then it just kind of started to build. And we've gone through a lot of different variations throughout the years, as far as some guys stayed, some guys left, but right now the current lineup has been great. Just the guys are fantastic and have been with me for a few years, and really, really talented guys in their own right too.
Planning to release his 5th album in June, we have in studio to perform his single, Words, Dan Krikorian.
And when we talk about it, I wish that you would use your words. And we circle around it, oh, seems to make it worse. And I don't wanna say it, 'cause I don't wanna make you hurt. But if you don't know me like you do, and if you get tired, I will move. If you're unsteady, I will stand my ground. And when we talk about it, I wish that you would use your words. And we circle around it, oh, seems to make it worse. And I don't wanna say it, 'cause I don't wanna make you hurt. But if you don't know me like you do, and if you get tired, I will move. If you're unsteady, I will stand my ground. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, just tell me something. Tired of falling through. Time will open up and bring me back to you. And oh, you feel it coming. I can feel it too. Time will open up and come and bring me back to you. Oh, back to you. And when we talk about it, I wish that you would use your words.
Dan Krikorian, album releasing in June. And thanks, Coach, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For Megan Ernst, Sophia Cycli, and our entire crew here at SoCal Spotlight, I'm Matt Brown. See you next time.